What is going on, guys? It is Daniel Wright, and you're here listening to another episode of Paving the Way. Guys, happy Wednesday to you. I hope your week's off to a great start. I hope you had a wonderful weekend this past week. I know around here we had kind of our first little taste of some fall weather here in Charlotte. The evenings are getting a little bit cooler, the mornings a little cooler, and the days are still heating up, 70s, low 80s. And truthfully, it's probably one of my favorite times of the year when it comes to weather and things like that. So it was definitely enjoyable. We're rocking and rolling, moving quick, fast, a lot of things going on here. But obviously, I still make it a priority to do my absolute best to get in front of you guys on Wednesday and Saturday mornings. With that being said, doing this show and this podcast has opened up a couple opportunities for me to start having more conversations with individuals that watch it, listen to it, things like that. More specifically, individuals that are in small business themselves, trying to grow their organizations, grow their company, develop as a leader, doing things like that. And it's just allowed me to have that door open to talk with people about it. And if you guys remember, I mean, way back when I started this, 67 episodes ago, the whole point of me wanting to do this is to literally help pave the way for other people to build the life they dream of, to achieve their goals, to just do something that matters and help make it maybe a little bit easier for them than it was for me. Just like the people who've gone before me have helped pave that path for me to be where I'm at today. It would be a disservice, I feel like, to other people around me to not try and pass along what I've learned, the information I've gathered and been able to take and turn into executable items and actions and things like that. So one of the conversations that I had recently was with a young man that I've known for quite some time. And he was just talking to me about building his business. Truthfully, he's kind of doing the same thing I did when I got into Proline. And he was talking to me about it, of trying to figure out how to balance, his kind of full-time job as well as building his company, and how it all works and how to find good employees that are loyal and want to stay with you, but also like making sure you have sales to keep up with them before you have them, and like all this stuff, right? And so he was asking me, how did you figure all this out? And I gave him a very long answer that I won't sit and bore you guys with reading all the details, but it got me thinking. Everything that we try to accomplish, the old saying of everything good doesn't come easy, and if it comes easy, it's not good, right? All this stuff takes time. It takes a lot of time. And that's the one thing that you just can't really buy. You can't buy time. You can buy knowledge, you can buy other people's experiences, which helps maybe expedite it a little bit, but you're never going to be able to just hit the fast forward button and say, get me there. You're never going to be able to have this idea and this dream for a business and hit a button, and then all of a sudden your systems are in place, your processes are in place, your marketing is in place, your team is in place, all these things that it takes to create a business. And I told him, I said, look, man, I said, like, all this stuff, like, it just has to take time. I said, you're in the phase of your business right now where your investment isn't necessarily monetary. It's your time. It's putting in that sweat equity. It's working your 40 or 50 hours at your full-time job, and then figuring out how to work another 40 to 50 or so at your business and making sure that's taken care of. And it reminds me that when I got into Proline back in 2016, August 2016, I had a full-time job working as a fireman, that was on average, we had a shift that was you're on 24, off 48. So it's like 10 days a month that you were working 24-hour shifts. So that's, 240 hours a month there. I also had another part-time job as a fireman that I worked at until about halfway through 2017, where I was working 30 to 40 hours a week there, 3 to 4 10-hour shifts a week there doing that. And I also have my lawn care and landscape company that I sold around mid-spring of 2017. But for the remainder of 2016, I was, mowing 30 to 40 yards a week on top of the full-time fire department job, on top of the part-time fire department job, and then on top of Proline when I picked that up, working on that on, nights and weekends and things like that. There was a period of time where 100-hour weeks were just normal. And a lot of guys I know that I'm still friends with at the fire department, a lot of them do that. They work those 100-hour weeks, between their career jobs, their part-time jobs, their side businesses, things like that. It's just a grind. Firemen are some of the grittiest people I've probably ever met in my life. And it's also because a lot of them get very bored. And so they need something to do, because if they're not busy making money, they're busy spending it, right? Let's be honest, guys. But it just reminds me that, like, the sweat equity that was put in, just the time that was put in over all those years of being able to continue to build and to build and to build step by step this company that we're getting to, operate in and enjoy and continue to build right now. It was all the time equity we had to put in. And I told this young man, I said, right now you're investing the time into your business so that one day you'll be able to start investing money into your business by hiring positions and things like that. It's a weird thing that it has to go one way and then the next. You got to get the sales, and then you got to get the help, and then you got to get the sales and then the help, or the help then the sales, right? So it's something that has to kind of grow in balance. But in the meantime, you're going to have to get the sales, and you're not going to have any help. You have to just put in the work and figure out what you want to invest in. You have to figure out where you want to spend your time, what your future is going to look like, what you're putting in, right? I personally, I picked this up from Alex Formosi, but talking about, investing in the S and Me 500 instead of the S&P 500, right? Because I have full control over the return on investment I put into myself. I'm not just sinking all that money into hoping it sits somewhere in some stocks, account, and I just wake up a millionaire one day. That's not going to happen. So you have to, as you're building these things and you're going through the grind and the grit of, transitioning from that full-time career job to your business that you're trying to grow, you're paying the time tax. That's where you're having to put in all that effort. And because eventually you're going to have the money tax you can start paying, that you can start investing that money into things, into systems and teams and softwares and whatever it may be, right? So don't forget that Rome wasn't built in a day, right? We've all heard that saying. They didn't just wake up and all of a sudden it was all there. It took thousands of years to get to where it was built, right? I'm not a historian by any means, so don't quote me on all this, but it takes time and it takes consistent effort. I put a post out on my social media this morning of my calves, right? That's something that I'm proud of as an individual, because I put a lot of effort into trying to make sure that I have nice defined calves. It's something that I feel like is an overlooked part of the body when people who are into fitness and they're working out. You always hear about people who they skip leg day, but specifically, I'm like, oh, calves are, I think that's kind of a neat thing to have developed. That's my own personal thing. But I did the math, and I've put in over 170,000 reps of calf raises over the last 3 years, right? And I'm not even where I want to be. Like, I still got chicken legs. I still got like toothpicks that I walk around on, but they're defined. They're nice. I'm proud of them. But it's taken 170,000 reps to get there. Anybody else who works out or does anything that just takes consistent effort to get better at things, what I'm talking about. It's putting in the time and consistency. It's being under the pursuit of excellence. It's not an end game. There's no end goal in business ownership and development and personal development, because it never ends. It's just an ongoing thing. And you have to ask yourself really hard, if you're wanting to try and grow your business, if you want to try and grow your brand or your dream or whatever it may be, is your dream really your dream? And are you willing to do what it takes for as long as it takes to accomplish that? Because a lot of people think that, man, I know I'm going to have this big business one day. I'm going to have all these people working it here, and we're going to do this and that and blah, 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 until they get into it, until it starts getting heavy, until they have people, their key people quit, until they lose out on a big contract, until they have an IRS bill, until they have unpaid payroll taxes that they had no idea that they actually owed because they've never had to do payroll taxes before. All those things start getting heavy, and then people start to think, maybe I don't really want that. Maybe I don't really want to make that happen. So, like I said, my encouragement is, as you're chasing these things, as you're building these things, make sure that you're looking in ahead and seeing where you're going, and is it where you want to go? And if it is, stick hard to that path. Stay dedicated to that path. Consume whatever information you can consume, because that's the only way you can get a discount on paying the time tax, is if you consume the information that other people have already gone through and they've learned from, and they're passing it along to you. It will expedite your process to get through those hard times. So, like I said, guys, I know I hit a lot of points on this. The biggest point I'm trying to make here is anything great, anything worth building, anything that you have a big dream to accomplish, it isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be an uphill climb that truthfully is never going to stop going uphill. You're just going to get more conditioned to climbing those steps. That's what really comes down to it. So, guys, I appreciate you for tuning in today. I'm looking to probably have a couple of guests get on the podcast again soon after I did the one with Kelsey. I thought that was kind of fun. Change it up a little bit rather than just you guys sitting here listening to me talk to myself and or watching me talk to myself. But if you have any recommendations, if you have any topics, anything like that that you want to hear talked about on Paving the Way, I'm happy to take them and see what we can do for you guys, because at the end of the day, this is all for you. So thank you, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will plan on seeing you guys